Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Girlfriend Therapy Session with Dee. I am your host, Dee Bryant, and we are here today to welcome my dear friend and guest. Her name is Adrienne Briggs, and she's a mother of two, a grandmother of nine, and we have something in common now. She's also an alumni of Martin Luther King High School, class of 78, and she earned her master's degree in early childhood education from Westchester University. For more than 30 years, Adrienne dedicated her career to early childhood education, specializing in childhood development, curriculum planning, and health and safety. After retiring from her childcare program, she transitions into consulting, mentoring, and women's health healing work, right? And guess what? She is a new author of her new book entitled It's Time to Exhale, and companion journals, helping women release, restore, and care for themselves with intention. So please welcome to the show, Adrienne. It's so good to have you
Same.
here. I'm so humbled and honored that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank you for
yes.
having me.
So let's get into the question because I want to talk about your humble beginnings.
Okay.
Um, Adrienne, so can you share a bit about your humble beginnings and what first led you into um, early childhood education and development?
Okay, I started in early childhood and, development 33 years ago. June was 33 years. I was a dietary supervisor at Chestnut Hill Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Started getting tired of that work. Wanted to do something else. Then had the opportunity um, to move out of that field.
Right.
Started doing my studies with early childhood education. Back then, this is how long ago it was. It was the home study courses,
Oh,
not the
okay.
online courses, but it was the home study courses. And I've always been surrounded with people's children. If I'm in a supermarket or a store, children are coming towards me or eyeballing me, smiling at me, and just had that connection.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just going to say, in my heart, I'm 6 feet tall. But in reality, I'm not. So I don't know if they connected to me because I was short or
Oh.
what it was, but they just always drew to me.
Mm-hmm. They
So,
gravitate to
mhm,
you.
mhm,
And that's a good thing when people it's like you're a magnet,
mhm,
to
mhm.
the kids
Yes.
gravitating to you. That's nice.
So, from doing the studies, then I decided to open up my own program. Um, I opened up the Family Child Care Program June 1st, 1992, and then and I started with families from the people I knew at Chestnut Hill Hospital.
Wow.
So I started with them, their grandchildren or their children, and
Wow,
it just
that's
continued. And I always kept it home base
mm-hmm.
because I wanted that small, intimate setting,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to always be hands on. People kept saying, "Why don't you do a center? Why don't you do a center?" My thought is, bigger is not always better.
Right.
So
Right.
this way, I knew I would be the one that the parents would see when they came to the door. I
Mm-hmm.
would be the one the children would see all day long. I would
Mm-hmm.
be the same person that the parents would see when they came to pick up their child.
Wow.
So to have that bond with the children and their families, and like I said, over the years it just kept continued to expand. When I started with just a high school diploma, and then the certification from the home study classes. But as I continued with the work, then I realized, okay, it's time to go to school and learn more. To learn more, you do more, you know better, you do better.
Right. Right.
And my philosophy now is in order to be an educator, you need to be educated.
Hello.
So,
That's right.
so I end up
That's
getting
right.
my CDA associates when I went to the CDA, which is a child development credential,
Mm-hmm.
and that just opened up my mind to want more. It gave me a hunger.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just continued on and ended up going forward and getting my master's in early childhood education.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And you explained your connection because see, you was at Chestnut Hill Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and she was there the same time I was there. I was
See.
working at Chestnut Hill Hospital also, but your connection and how you started your home base
Mm-hmm.
just from where you used to work.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is, these parents have gained trust in you just from Chestnut Hill.
Right.
They trusted you with their children,
Yes.
and so I think that was an interesting
Mm-hmm.
start. Because sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to help you get your foot in the door.
Yes. Yes.
And so I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
And we had built that relationship, and
Right.
truth be told, until I closed in June, I still had some of the people from those families. That's what sustained me my whole career, was different family members
Mm-hmm.
from that
Different
relationship,
generations, you
different
mean?
generations from that connection at Chestnut Hill Hospital. Or
Wow.
I had their children, grandchildren,
Yeah.
great grandchildren. So it was just
Wow.
generational care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Generational care
Mm-hmm.
is what it
Yep.
was. Mm. And that withstand you for over 30
Over
years.
30 years. Yep.
Wow. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, well, when did you know? Well, you may have answered this question, but when did you know that working with children and families was the calling God had placed in your life? Was that a calling that God placed in your life? Or you think you may have already answered that,
No.
but
It was a calling, definitely, just because of the transition
mm-hmm,
from the hospital to going into childcare.
mm-hmm,
Um, I left the hospital May, but when I left in May, I was already setting up the childcare program,
mm-hmm,
and I knew I was going to open June 1st. So I was able to open up June 1st with children and families.
mm-hmm.
So just that whole transition let me know that, okay, this was very smooth. And for it to carry me for over 30 years, I knew that was definitely my calling.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay, well, in working closely with parents and caregivers, what signs did you begin to notice that showed um, many were overwhelmed and stressed because you became a self care expert
Mm-hmm.
due to caring for people's
Mm-hmm.
children. So I can only imagine that, okay, they trusted you with their children,
Mm-hmm.
but now they trust you to talk to you about how overwhelmed they are within their life, the
Yes.
parents. So, how did that transition into self care? Because that's,
It just through everyday conversation with them, when they were either dropping off their children or picking up their children, or I could see the stress that was on them coming in, or after you work with people for a long time, you notice some of their body language. So seeing that body language, the conversation shifted from Johnny had a great day today to how's your day? What's going on with you? I see something different in you today. And a lot of times people just want you to notice them and realize something's different going on with them.
mm-hmm,
And it'll open that door for them to maybe fall in your arms, boo hoo, or just get that relief to be able to talk to you before they go out the door with that weight that they're carrying.
Mhm.
So just those relationships, having those relationships with the people, and I became like the second mother or the auntie to them because,
Mhm.
like I said, already knew a lot of them when they were little through their parents, or they might have been in my program and now they bring in their children. So we already had that trust, so that openness to be able to talk. And a lot of the stuff I carried because I could feel their heaviness come in the door. And it took me a minute to address it because some people, when they would come in, I could feel that heaviness. And when they
Mm.
leave out, I'm like, why am I feeling this way? I wasn't feeling this way before. And guys started, I started asking the questions. Guys started giving me the answers because of the weight they're carrying. When they
Mhm.
come back, you might need to address this or you might need to say this to them. Like,
Right.
I don't want to say that to them. But I knew I was being used in that space.
I think sometimes the Lord guides us, and we don't understand at that particular time.
Mm-hmm,
But it's always for me when you look back, then you
mm-hmm,
understand.
mm-hmm.
But maybe the Lord just um, allow you to be that fit for someone who really needs the help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Um, you know, God gives us so many gifts that we don't understand ourselves, but
Yes.
you know your gift,
Mm-hmm,
and people gravitate to you because the trust,
mm-hmm.
the trust that they have in you, the trust they already had trust in you watching their children,
Children. Mm-hmm,
but for them to take that trust a step
mm-hmm.
above, for them to trust to sit down and have a
Yes.
conversation with you about their troubles
Mm-hmm,
or their heartfelt um
mm-hmm.
conversations is, I don't know, I because I'm sitting on the couch with you and having girlfriend conversation, and I don't know what it is, Adrienne, but I feel it. I feel it. I feel the connection.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Um, and I've been reading your book too.
Awesome.
Her book is awesome. You guys have to get it. It's on Amazon.
Yes.
But a lot of things in your book I really want to dive in and talk about.
Okay.
Okay, so what was the defining moment that made you transition from early childhood to self-care to work for women, teens, and adult and men, right? Men been coming to you too
Mm-hmm,
because they're
mm-hmm,
the men are dropping their kids
mm-hmm.
off. So what is that like? Is there a difference in I know it's a difference talking to teenagers and adult, but um and we always talking to women because most of the women are um you know, some of them aren't married, some
Mm-hmm,
of them,
mm-hmm.
they have children and they single parents. We have a lot of single parents out there, and don't forget, men are single parents
Yes.
also.
Yes.
And so I think that alone um can create stress,
Mm-hmm,
being a single parent, because for me, I come from a single parent home, so I watched my mother um, raise my brother and I, and my mother was working 3 jobs to try to
been
make
there, done
ends
that.
meet.
Mm-hmm.
So I know.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of, so what was that like? Especially the men. I would like to hear more about you speaking with men. What are the troubles that they were carrying when they came to you?
To be honest, it's basically the same troubles.
The same
It's just
trouble
the
as the
fact that they,
women.
yep, the same troubles as the women, but they just don't have that outlet like women do.
Mm.
That's
Wow.
a lot of men's behaviors are because they don't have that outlet to have that girlfriend time or that guy time, because girlfriends can sit around and be very vulnerable with one another,
Mm-hmm.
show their weaknesses. Most men don't have that opportunity. They always have to be that strong one. They can't. It's very, very rare where you'll find that they're able to really hang around one of their male friends and tell the truth about the pain they're in.
You got a point there.
Most of them will play it off the
Yeah,
whole
yeah, they
time.
play it off, say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, what's
Mm-hmm.
up? What's up? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
my homeboy."
Mm-hmm.
But men don't know how to settle down and be vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
around their male
Mm-hmm.
friends, whereas women, we're totally the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
We will
Yep.
break down in a minute and tell you what's wrong with us,
Mm-hmm.
and and his girlfriend, talk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I call this girlfriend
Yes.
therapy, because your girlfriends are your therapy.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
But men are different.
They are. And the funny thing is, growing up, I worked around men. I used to work for the Evening and Sunday Bulletin. So that was a predominantly male industry. My
Okay.
mother had a branch. So I was the only female there. So I grew up with the guys. So we found a trusted space.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, even working at the hospital, we just found that trusted space. I would be their sister. So certain things they could share with their sister that they couldn't
You
share
see,
with their
friends,
male friends or their girlfriends and
right?
everything. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit there and sugarcoat it for you. I try to sugarcoat stuff, but it don't come out my mouth sugarcoated. I'm sorry.
So you're going to tell them like it
Right.
is,
So
right?
if you're doing wrong, well, no, you're doing wrong. Or if they come and ask advice for, how should I handle this situation with my girlfriend or my baby's mom or this, that, and the other. If you're wrong, I'm going to tell you wrong. If you're doing something that can be changed to help it better, I'm going to tell you that as well.
Right.
So I've always had that connection with the males. And then I ended up working at a bar. Don't drink, work at a bar. And where's the best therapy at? A lot of men get their therapy in the bar.
Lord
So
Jesus.
I'm going to stand there and tell them. You know, I'll never forget, one guy came in one Saturday morning and smelling like he just hopped out the shower. And then he started talking about, yeah, I'm on my way home. And because I was out all night playing ball with the guys. I turned around and looked at him. I was like, you lying. No way in the world you've been out playing ball with the guys all day long and you smell like you just jumped out of the shower. He said, you can smell that? Yeah. So you going home and getting caught and want to know why.
Mm.
You wrong. So he like, oh. So he did whatever he did that night, called himself trying to clean up to go home. But you're not smelling fresh like that and you've been out with
It,
the fellas all night. I'm
playing
sorry.
ball, right?
And he looked.
Where's the odor? The odor's missing.
So,
Playing ball.
those type of things. And even when I did the children's book, I Can Because I Am. And I just left it, I can. Fill in that blank of what I can do.
Mm.
Because I am. Fill in those blanks. So
Because you
basically,
am,
I can do all things through Christ who
who
strengthens
strengthens
me.
us, right?
So, you just have to, and then through that, people jumped on me like, okay, how you going to do a children's affirmation book and not include the adults? I'm like, okay, we need that too. So I did a women's journal. Well, then the men jumped on me. But how you going to do a women's journal? What about the men? I never thought about men journaling.
Yeah. Do men do that? Do they like?
They can do this in their private space.
Mm-hmm.
So this
And
way
and
they
they
can get them
probably and
thoughts
they
out.
probably need that. They need it.
because they carry it.
because they carry so
Hmm.
much and they don't want to talk to nobody about it.
Exactly.
Their friends.
So this way, I did that once for them to be able to write it out,
Write out their
to
feelings.
write out their feelings, because it is not healthy to
To keep
hold everything in.
it in.
It's not healthy. It becomes like a cancer
Mm,
where it just eats you up inside, and it ends up creating bad decisions because you're running from that pain.
wow, what an interesting way of putting that.
So it's just, and I know we're here for this one. I'm sorry, but that's where the connection with the men comes in it.
Mm, wow. Yeah, well, men need the therapy
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
They really do. I mean, and we all do. Your book is entitled "Time to Exhale."
Mhm.
What does exhaling truly mean for women emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? Um, it's a great book, um, by the way. And how did you come up with the title? I think
I didn't
it's
realize it at the time when I came up with the title, but if you just realized recently, 30 years ago is when the movie Waiting to Excel came out. And just thinking about that whole movie, and that waiting to exhale. So I'm like, no, it's time for us to exhale. It's no longer we're waiting to exhale. It is our time to exhale, because we've gone through so
so
much,
much.
still going through so much. And just the whole idea that it's time to exhale. That one exhale can change your whole thought pattern right then and there.
Hmm.
You could be overwhelmed, and just taking that moment to stop and exhale can stop you from cussing somebody out, wringing somebody's neck, snapping out on somebody, or going into that rage. If you just stop and
Yeah,
exhale.
you. Yeah, I enjoyed the book because you go into deep details about breathing exercises and how to um, just exhale. You know,
Because I've taken many mindfulness classes, and because of the fact 99% of the stuff that we say or do begins in our mind. It does not mean it's a reality. It begins in our mind.
would you say like overthinking things and
Overthinking, overanalyzing, misunderstanding. You could say to me, "How you doing today?" Nice and innocent. But if I'm not in the right headspace, that could be, "How you doing today?"
in an arrogant way because that's they they in that state of mind. Mm.
And then you think about, especially now in the day of technology and texting people,
That's
we could send an innocent text. But if you're in
but
a space where Joe Blow just walked past and got on your last nerve, and you see that text, you could take that totally out of context.
yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that I hate about texting because when somebody texts you and you be like, what did they just say?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you may take it the wrong way, but maybe they didn't mean it that way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, so the younger generation, they do a lot of texting back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I pick up the phone and make the phone
Mm-hmm.
call
Mm-hmm.
because I think all this texting back and forth, you reading it and you're like, what? How they?
Mm-hmm.
why they
getting
worded
all
that way.
rah up
Yeah,
for nothing.
for nothing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So, or it could be something. You
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
So it could work both
Hmm.
ways. You
Hmm.
know.
Hmm. Or think
So,
about if you're texting somebody and by mistake you done hit where everything's capitalized. You didn't mean it. You didn't even
oh,
realize it.
oh.
People think you're
Well,
yelling
if
at them.
everything's capitalized, that means they mad. They mad. They mad at you.
Right.
I'll
But
be like,
it could
oh,
mean that they just hit the button at the wrong time and they capitalized everything and they were so busy making sure they got their message because 9 times out of
I
10
don't
they
even
may
know
have
how to
been
do that.
but they may have been driving or doing something else, multitasking, and didn't even realize that it came across all
Yeah,
capital.
all caps. Well, that I don't even know how to make it all caps without, you know, pushing
Mm-hmm.
one letter at a time in caps. But that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
See,
that's why I say, a lot of times before we respond to stuff, if we just stop and take that exhale, that inhale and exhale, your
and that
response might
really
be totally
hurts.
different. Your response might be softer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, because I was trying to follow and go,
mhm,
and um, I think you feel better when you do those breathing
mhm,
exercises.
mhm.
So
Yeah, that was a huge thing I learned through the different mindfulness classes. Is just taking that time to breathe, and it's something so natural.
that we do every
Supposedly,
day
supposedly,
that we don't even
realize
I
the
think every
importance.
breath that we take, sometimes we take advantage of it because we don't really know, or we not thankful enough to know.
Mhm, mhm,
You know what? I woke up this morning.
mhm, mhm,
I
mhm,
put both feet on the floor
mhm.
and I'm breathing.
Yes,
I'm here to see another day. I
yes.
mean, it's just so many things throughout life in itself
Hmm.
that I don't know, I don't want to say we take advantage of,
We
do
take
we?
it for granted.
We
We do.
take it for
Hmm.
granted, yeah.
Hmm. We do. Hmm.
Yeah.
But
I,
that's why I say, it's important to intentionally take that exhale. Because think about it. Something happens. The first thing we do is grasp that breath. But if we don't do that exhale afterward, we will suffocate.
mm,
And
wow.
life, the way life is throwing its punches, it's making us everything is
Yeah.
but we have to after that we have to remember to
Calm myself down.
hmm
Because I would say this, stress will kill you
hmm
if you let it.
hmm
And so you have to learn how to work around that, and your exercise teaches us that perfectly.
hmm
Um, yeah. So wow, I am just so I've learned a lot
Good.
reading your book.
Awesome.
I've learned a lot.
So it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Awesome.
Now, many people think that self care requires, spending money, going to the spa, getting their nails done. Um, you know, what are some meaningful self care practices women can begin right now at home? Because now I do know, I'm asking you two questions at one time because I'm trying to get it all in. Um, I don't want to too much give away everything that's in your book,
Hmm.
but um, I like the fact that you have the bonfire.
Hmm.
It's almost like a retreat
Yes.
for women to sit around the fire and talk
Hmm.
and let their feelings show and all those
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
But and I say that's some true self care right there.
Yes.
But sometimes people think, oh, self-care is about getting with your girlfriend, going to the spa, getting your nails and toes done. Well, that kind of stuff costs money,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just for the moment. I mean, and don't get me wrong, a massage may feel good.
Yes.
Getting your hair done always make a woman happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but to have some deep self-care, even if it means, being with some girlfriend, being
Mm-hmm.
around the fire. But it really sounds like a going to a retreat.
Yes. That portion is, but the other portion of self care is just what it says, self, taking care of self. If that means drinking more water, if that means sitting somewhere by yourself, quiet. A lot of women don't know how to be by themselves, with themselves. Because and then so it's that constant do
Always on
and
the
doing
go,
doing for
always on the
everybody
go, doing
else.
for
Hmm. Hmm.
everybody
Hmm.
but themselves.
Right. So sometimes you might just have to spend an extra 5 minutes in the bathroom with the door closed and it's just you. Just that get quiet. Society has taught us to fear quietness and stillness.
Wow.
And I've learned over the years, and it's just been the last couple few years, that that is the best thing in the world. Is to just be able to sit and be quiet. I, I used to struggle with quietness because that meant something was not right
Wow.
because of that constant busyness. But to sit and to really just be still and be quiet.
And that to me sounds like um just having a moment to yourself to regroup.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Regroup from a
mm-hmm,
busy day.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But um I think that point that you're making is very important because it gives you, what I say, I always say, um, you know, somebody asked me, oh, D, what you doing? And you know what I would say? I'm gathered in my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was my moment to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I always use that term. I'm gathered in my
Mm-hmm.
thoughts. And so that meant for me, there was time to myself to regroup
Mm-hmm.
or do whatever I'm doing. Um, Now you mentioned the other day
Mm-hmm.
what you like to do, what you consider self care for yourself, and I'm gonna tell you mine.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you
I
like?
have a min- I have a many. I have many different things of self care, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I want people to realize too. Self care is not just one and done.
Mm-hmm.
It's many different things that I do. Um, I like to on the weekend still away in my basement and craft because I like being busy with my hands. So I like to produce something and see the results. I like to, like I said, I love to just get somewhere now and just sit still and be quiet and not feel guilty about it.
Don't.
I don't feel guilty about it. I'm like, ooh, it's quiet because we hear so much, but when you start quieting your mind, you can shut out all the noise in the world and just sit there. Because one time, I have a turtle tank. So, the first time I started trying to sit around being quiet, I'm like, I hear the turtle tank. I hear the heater. I hear outside. But the more I practiced sitting there, I was able to start even tuning that out and tuning out. Because, a lot of times we'll sit still and be like, I need to be up there cooking dinner right now. I need to be paying these bills. Oh my gosh, I got this to do. But to be able to sit and not have none of those thoughts and really sit in quiet is an art.
You saying a lot of things that have my mind racing here. I always say all those things that we worry about, like you
Mhm.
said, oh, I should be cooking, I should be paying a bill, this and that and the other. And it's going to be there. That same bill is going to be there. But let
Mhm.
me have my peace and
Yep.
quiet right now
Yep.
first
Yep.
and deal with that
Mhm.
later.
Mhm.
So it's really about getting into yourself.
Mhm.
And I would also say too that self-care isn't a selfish
Nope.
act.
It's a
It's
necessity.
necessary. It's
Mhm. Mhm.
necessary.
Mhm. Mhm.
So don't feel like don't feel guilty about um getting into
Mhm.
yourself.
Mhm.
Because self-care it is
Yes.
necessary.
Like the flight attendant says on the plane. Put on your own oxygen mask first. Because if you're trying to put somebody else's oxygen mask on and you pass out, you're not helping nobody. But if you put your own oxygen mask on, that's giving you enough and refilling you so that you can help the next person.
Right.
Because what happens is we are so busy pouring out to everybody else, we get empty and not even realize it. That emptiness is what causes the burnout. That emptiness is what causes all the stress, the heart attacks, the this, the that, the other, the different illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
You can't pour from an empty vessel.
That's right.
So you have to find that time to fill up your own vessel in order to help others fill theirs.
Mm. Yeah,
And
I like that example.
mhm,
I like that example. Um, because again, you're no good to nobody
mhm,
if you're not taking care of yourself
mhm,
first. You're no
mhm,
good to nobody. And
exactly.
and the thing with women, we always have the tendency of carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders.
Mhm,
It's crazy,
mhm, mhm.
and but we're not superwoman.
I
We're
just
not.
found that out recently because I thought I wore a cape, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have no cape on. That's not what my title is for real.
Right.
And started learning how to put stuff down, how to not try to carry the weight of the world. I tease people and say nowadays my shoulders are as broad as they are now because I thought I had to carry everything and everybody, but I
And
wasn't made. That's not what I was made for.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So learning how to not carry everything. And a lot of times, and I also realize we're trying to carry everything and everybody, we enable people and handicap them.
Would that mean um us having to set boundaries? Because sometimes we
Hmm.
don't know how to say no to people.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'm here to tell you it's
Hmm.
okay to say no,
Yes.
right?
Yes. No is just as powerful as a yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because if you don't say no,
They're
it
going to
hurts
keep
you
on
in the
asking.
long run. It burns you out.
Hmm. And they're going to
You
keep on
saying
asking.
yes to
Hmm.
everything to
Yes.
everybody,
Yep.
it burns you out.
Hmm.
And that's why it says self-care is not a selfish act. It's necessary. The
Hmm.
boundaries are necessary.
Hmm. Exactly.
Um,
And the thing is, just like we say yes to everybody else, we have to learn how to say yes to ourselves. Start saying no to
right.
others and saying yes
Yes
to
to
yourself.
you.
Hmm.
Yes to you. Well, let me tell you um what I like to do to have my peace and calm.
Okay, awesome.
Um so what I like to do, I like to um sit in my favorite chair, which is my recliner in
Okay.
my bedroom. And I would do a diffuser and have some lavender in the diffuser. It's like
Mm,
aromatherapy for
mhm,
me.
mhm.
And so I really love that. And lavender calms
Yep.
your nerves and
Mhm,
everything. So I like doing that. And I could have the headphones on depending on what I'm in the mood for, either
mhm,
R&B or my gospel
mhm,
music.
mhm,
And I'm sitting in my recliner and it has a massage mode on there and heat. And I'm just relaxing, the
mhm.
aromatherapy, and or I could do that same thing and have my foot thing. I'm soaking my feet
Soaking. Mhm, mhm, mhm,
and
mhm,
smelling the having the
mhm,
aromatherapy with the diffuser. But those two things I like to do in my quiet time, and I don't do it often.
mhm.
But those are one of the things that I like to
And it
do.
sounds like you're being intentional when you do it.
Yeah,
You're being intentional.
yeah,
When you get in that chair, especially when you're doing your foot massager, you pull these things together to intentionally sit there
yeah,
and do you.
and do me.
Hmm.
Um, and I have to say, I'm home most of the time.
Hmm.
You know, um, while everybody's at work and school, that's my time.
Yes.
That's my
Hmm.
time for
Hmm.
me. But when everybody come home, I say, oh boy,
Hmm.
my 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 day begins when
When you
everybody
come home.
comes home.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
And just think about if you did not take that time for you before everybody came home, how you would show up for them. Do you think you would be able to show up for them positively?
mm, probably not because I'm not having the time that I need.
Because you wouldn't be able to show up full for them.
Right,
But with you taking that time for you, you're refilling yourself each and every time.
right,
So you're able to show up full for them.
right. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I listen. You you talk some deep stuff, Adrienne. I tell you, but you speaking the truth, girl, because um this self-care thing cuts really deep,
Hmm.
and are you're not sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
You telling it like it is. So the retweets that you have,
Hmm.
um, is that open to everybody, or how much does it cost, or
It will be open to everyone. I am in the planning stage of trying to do, mm-mm, taking the word trying out my vocabulary. I am in the
oh
working
yeah.
stages of doing one for March because I just want to wait, let the weather calm down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully by the end of March, we'll be able to get back in the backyard and sit
Okay.
around the fire. And right now, with the planning, I can't tell you exactly how much it costs, but it'll be a very low cost for the supplies.
Okay.
Because with the retreats, we do different activities.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, as women, we're going to have to eat. So we're going to do some eating, some activities, some crying, some laughing, some quiet time. It's just a whole mixture. And it all depends on how the people show up. When you come to the retreats, you're able to share what you want to share. If you don't want to share, you don't have to. But it's open for you to share as much as you want to share. It's a safe space, it's a
Mm-hmm.
no judgment zone,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about building the tools that you need for your healing. Your healing may be different than my healing.
Right.
My healing may be different from the next woman's healing. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing I have noticed is that when the women come together with this healing, everybody sees the possibilities and it opens that door to, oh, that sister went through that and she's working on her healing. Oh, let me look into me and deal with me. We
Right.
come to these not for me to deal with you,
Right.
but for us to each deal with our own self individually and
That's
go
right.
that deep dive, not the surface stuff. because over the years I've learned about the iceberg therapy. So with the iceberg, you see this portion on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath that water is so much other stuff
Mm.
that's connected that people don't see. And a lot of times people don't even realize they're carrying it themselves. So in order to deal with the whole person, we have to get underneath that surface as well.
Mm.
And part of what helped me transition from the children and to the adults is as I was dealing with the children, the stuff those children carry come from their parents, grandparents, so forth. So
Wow.
it's not just
Wow.
I couldn't just continue to deal with just the child, because if I'm working to build the whole child, I need to work with the whole family.
That sounds like family counseling.
That's and basically that's what it started turning into, because like I said, the parents would come in with this weight. They would start talking, or if it was a situation, at one point I had both parents, not necessarily married, but both parents were involved with the children. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes mom picking up, sometimes dad picking up, sometimes mom and dad done had an argument. Dad gonna come in there with his attitude and like, what's going on with you today? So I gotta make sure you get calm before you take that child out of here. Because a lot of
Wow.
times that's where child abuse and neglect can come from, because of what's going on with the parents. It's not necessarily with that child. That child could jump off that same table 90 times a day. But this one day when everything else has come at you, that's getting on your nerves and you snap out at that child, or you snap out at their parent, and that child seeing it. So, we have learned over the years the stuff that we carry from what we experienced in our environment. That's where a lot of brokenness comes from with people. That's where a lot of the mental illness comes from with people.
Wow.
So, and our culture, that's something that was not really being dealt with before. But we had to take them bandages off, not bandages, take them covers off, so that we can start healing them. And with a sword, okay, when you fell and hit your knee down to that white meat, back in the day, you break it down to that white meat. It took
That's a
time for
bad
that to heal.
fall.
Right, it took time for that to heal.
Right.
So you might put a band-aid on it, then to get a scab on it. You hit that scab coming off is bleeding again. So it's going to take even longer now for that to heal, because it was re-injured. And
Mm.
that's the same way it is with us. We might go through a healing process, but if you keep getting re-injured, it keep reopening that wound and other wounds. So with this whole thing about it's time to exhale, it's not just one exhale. It's a continuous exhale. It's a continuous healing. We don't heal overnight from stuff that we've carried 40 years.
That's right. It's healing in progress.
It's healing in progress.
And in your book, I like how you do storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
and because the storytelling is an example of what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I like that aspect about the book too, because you can um, talk about any subject, or meditating, for example. You talk about the breathing. I say the breathing exercises is all about meditating, I think. And but then you go into details and talk about a story of someone else, and it I like the storytelling
Mm-hmm.
because it's like a stepping stone of what you're trying to explain
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that about your book.
And
Oh,
historically, if you think about through storytelling, is how we've survived. Hearing the stories of our ancestors,
wow.
hearing stories of the other, our girlfriends or others. Because when you hear these stories, a lot of times you can see yourself in it.
Right.
And then once you know that representation, so when you're seeing yourself in something, then it affects you differently, as opposed to that's not me. But okay, you might not be the one getting beat up physically, but what are you going through emotionally?
Mm.
So when the girlfriend comes and tells you about how she may have been getting physically beat up and how it made her feel, then you may be able to relate and be like, you know what? He didn't hit me, but it made me feel that way.
Yeah. Well, with that, that could be verbal abuse, or um, or him making you feel you never enough. Because sometimes women walk around feeling like they not enough, they not good enough,
Mm-hmm. And,
and they, no matter what they do
mm-hmm.
or how many times they do it, sometimes they feel like we're not good enough.
But not but to negate it, but to make you realize if you don't value you, how can somebody else value you? And the thing is, if you know your value, can't nobody devalue you.
That's right. That's right.
So it goes back to self.
Self.
You have to know your
Self.
own value. You have to value you, your time, your space, your energy, your body, in order for somebody else to value that.
Mm. Adrienne, you good. You good, girl.
That's nobody but God.
Um, okay. Well, we're gonna have to wrap this up, but you really good. I'm gonna have you come back for real, for real.
I'm open to it.
But I'm gonna ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what immediate self care practices would you recommend women to start today after watching this episode?
Take that 10 minutes to yourself. Whatever that means, like I said, if that means going sitting in the bathroom for 10 minutes, go in that bathroom, sit there for 10 minutes. Tune out everything. If it means sitting in your car when you pull up in front of your door for 10 minutes, sit in the car and just be still. Not on the phone texting, not on the phone calling anybody. Take that 10 minutes. If it means going standing in front of the mirror for 10 minutes and feeding yourself with affirmations, do that. 10 minutes. And I used to, people used to say, take that time for yourself. But I don't have time because I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing the other. No, take
You
that
gotta
10
you gotta
minutes.
make
You got
time,
to make time. That intentional 10 minutes. This is my 10-minute time.
and I'm using it.
I'm using it unapologetically.
That's right. That's right. No need
Unapologetically.
to apologize to
Mm-mm.
nobody
Nope.
about your self care.
Exactly. If it means sitting in the tub or standing in the shower, sometimes I just get in the shower and just let the hot water
Would have
just run
run,
on me.
and you be into your, they have aroma stuff
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm. I drop them
streamers
in there.
that
Yep.
pop it in the
Mm-hmm.
shower,
Mm-hmm.
and you could just
Yep.
inhale all the
Yep.
steam. Oh, that's the
Sometimes,
most generating
yes.
feeling.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a beach baby. So
Oh,
I love I
you like the
love hanging
beach?
on the beach.
Well, I'm not a
Can't
beach
swim. I
person.
can't swim a lick.
Yeah,
But let me sit there on that water and just listen to those waves and dig my feet in that sand because sand is unending.
I'm not too much of a beach person.
Mm-hmm.
My family loves the beach, so I
Yeah.
go as a family. But when I'm at the beach, I don't like being dirty, so I don't
Okay.
like the
Okay.
sand. But I do take a moment of,
Mm-hmm.
listening to the sea and looking up at the sky,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I be in such awe and I
Mm-hmm.
be in such prayer, and then I think about how God create everything. And so at that point, the beach does look beautiful.
Mhm.
And I take it all in,
Yep.
Adrienne. I really do.
Mhm.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
Okay. And um, what final words of wisdom would you like to leave women who are learning to give themselves permission to rest, reset, and take care of their whole self? What final words do you have for women that's learning how to?
That is a necessity. It's not an option. It is a necessity because, like I said, you cannot pour from an empty vessel.
That's
And if
right.
you're constantly pouring out, pouring out, pouring out, you're going to end up bankrupting yourself. That's just like with a bank. If you don't put money in and constantly taking it out, you're going to be broke. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't, if you constantly taking out of you, your energy and everything else, giving it to everybody else, you're going to be broke. So refill yourself, invest in yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean dollar wise, I mean time wise. Invest in yourself.
Mm.
Because
Wow.
it's time to exhale. Without the exhale, we suffocate.
Okay, folks, we're about to wrap up a girlfriend therapy session with Dee, but before doing so, I encourage you to get Adrienne's book. It's entitled It's Time to Exhale, and you can get this on Amazon,
Yes.
folks, right?
Yep.
Adrienne Briggs.
Yep. It's the book, the journal, and then it's also a coloring book to go with it. For that self care time.
Yes, 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 most definitely.
I
Okay,
thank you.
well, that wraps it up. Um, if you enjoyed this girlfriend therapy session with Dee, we ask that you click like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye bye. Everyone be blessed. Bye bye.